Hi, thank you, David. Exciting time. I hope you're enjoying. I'm impressed by all those first presentations. As a start, let me say that I'm part of the retail family because before joining Valtech a year ago, I have been a retail change agent, if I may say, in digital and omnichannel for 15 years. I sort of measure with you today for traditional retailers how impressive it has changed coming up, but at the same time how exciting it is to go to work every day and really think about that user experience you want to win on. Okay, so that's our topic today. Good news. We found the recipe. No, not really. That would be very pretentious. I want to share with you today 3 experiences that we have been working with very innovative retailers. And I wanted to give all the credit back to these retailers, by the way, because they have been really amazing in the way they have taken a major journey, a major innovation journey. And I'm sure for most of you in the room, you measure that delivering a new experience is something that is not only about drawing boards, about schematics, about working with us as a global digital agency, engineering experiences, as David has said, but it's really about shifting the organization, shifting the culture. And today, for most of our customers and for probably most of you in the room here, is about helping to determine the retail business that will perhaps thrive, and that's what you're looking for. But really, as we speak today, for a lot of retailers, it's also about surviving, okay, in the next 5 years and beyond. Let me share you as an experienced retailer how I feel about a few news that came into the press. By the way, I'm based in New York, so I look obviously more on the US retail scene than the rest of the world, although I'm also scanning with our team, our Valtech teams, what's going on around the world and participating with various customers and retail customers around the world. But really, most of you have seen two very symbolic moments and milestones that happened recently. One is Best Buy. Best Buy, for me, as a retailer, has been a best practice for so many years, when you think about it. They've invented really omni-channel, click and reserve, geek squads, really the idea that you're not selling a product, you're selling a service and installation included at home. Now, Best Buy has been struggling over the last months to convince its shareholders that the value of the company could be at the same level that it was 5 years ago. Now, this incredible company is struggling to prove that the value of the company it was what it was 5 years ago. So that's one thing that really both amazes me and triggers us as Valtech to really help our retailers move forward and get into that future and exciting experience. The second one, which is even more impressive, I'm sure you've noticed that one, is that in August, Amazon market cap went 25% above Walmart. Now, you're saying today the retailer which has the highest value in the world has no store. That's quite a message. Let me share with you what our innovative customers, most innovative customers, all of them are innovating, of course, but what our most innovative customers have been going through as we shared with them all the technologies and use case and experience we had to work on. Of course, it's a mix of emotion, okay? It's about retail future is exciting. That's the start of the work, I would say, with the teams. Retail future is inspiring. There's so much to do, and those technologies help us project amazing experience with customers. But they're terrifying when you think about it. You know, Amazon, first retailer in market capitalization, no store. And so it could be, they are going through that also process of, wow, it's intimidating as well. But finally, it's profound. You have to accept the idea that what used to work may not work, and this may come very soon, okay? And I think that what has really been the key point in innovative retailers we work with on moving forward is the fact that they have accepted the idea that this is inevitable. How did they change? And then I'll get to those three experiences that will be, I hope, interesting for you on how far you can go with the customer. First thing they changed was really, historically, most companies and retailers or B2C companies, business to consumers companies, have seen innovation as a staircase, okay? So we all remember the staircase, right? 1.0 15 years ago in online, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. It seems like it's 5-year cycles, right? 1.0 was late 90s, 2.0 was mid 2000s, 3.0 was the smartphone maturity, early 2010s. And then you feel we still have a cycle of 5 years for every innovation. Well, the thing that impresses us for those innovative retailers we work with is that they have decided this is not the right pace anymore. You have to cope with a permanent state of innovation, okay? So it looks like more like, for those who like museums, or the Guggenheim in New York, right? That's where I reside in New York. The Guggenheim in New York is a spiral ramp, you know? So it's not a staircase anymore. You cannot stop between two stairs, right? Or 2 floors. You're just always coping with that pace of change. And by the way, this is also triggering a lot of thoughts on how can we cope that with a permanent state of change every month, every quarter, where our budget cycles, our plan, are built on a year, and where the traditional pace of innovation is about planning innovation for a few months, then budgeting the actual design of the innovation for a year, and actually, if you're fast, deploying, testing, tuning, and deploying full scale in another year. So you're speaking about pace of change and cycle of change in most companies today, which are still 2 years to 2.5 years. Let me share with you now the experiences that were driven by our teams at Valtech and with our most innovative customers, and really show that all this technology we're speaking of is about solving business problems and being customer-centric, really going deep into the mind of our customers. And by the way, we're all customers. That's also something which amazes me as an ex-retailer and member of the retail family, is we tend to really have a waterproof, if I may say, wall here between the way we act as consumers and the way we act as professionals. So let's take that wall down and make sure that the two communicate fairly easily. I happen to be a marathon runner, so shoes for me is very important. So I sympathize a lot with this example. For those who runs marathon here? Oh, okay. So I'll share with you my experience. I mean, shoes are 60% of the job when you run a marathon, right? So when you come into a sport shop or a sports store, those shoes are pretty dead. I mean, really, you look at it and you feel, well, what's the added value? I can see the shape, but what's the added value? In 90% of the cases, you will not find an expert salesman. He's doing a lot of things, but if you look at the surveys, 90% of people entering a store and exiting a store will not have found a salesperson, and even more, an expert salesperson on running shoes for marathon. So this is one first case where we thought with our customer here, if you put a 3D motion sensor connected via Bluetooth, what can you do? How can you make that experience engaging, okay? And how can you share all the information that is carried by that shoes, about all the engineering teams and the athletes that have participated to the design of the shoe? That's really what I want to know about, okay? And build confidence on the fact that these are the right shoes for me, and they were so nicely crafted, manufactured, and designed that these are the right shoes for me. So what you see is this is a mobile-free world, right? You pick up the product, you flip it, you rotate it, and information is popping up on the screen next to the shoe. So that's pretty engaging. That's one example of how do you turn a dead shoe, more or less, into an experience, into trust, into confidence that, yes, this is the right shoes for me, or not, perhaps, but at least I'm engaging and I'm going deep into that experience. Second experience I want to share with you is a key real estate customer that our Canadian team is engaging with, has been engaging with. The name of that customer is Ivanhoe Cambridge. They have more than 40 malls around the world, mostly in Canada. And really, they're fully aware, very customer-centric, that when they listen to us as customers, they're fully aware that malls experience are not so great. Think about going there, think about parking, think about running miles through the malls, thinking about ideas as you get closer to Christmas, for example, and finding those very selective gifts for those people you care and love so much, and that are so difficult to satisfy in some way. And how do you do that? Okay, so they thought, well, the mall mission is not only to pack retailers and let the customer find its way in the mall. How can you help as we get in the pre-Christmas season? How can you help on that question is, what kind of gift can you find for the right person that you're thinking of? The starting point is really, in all those experiences, and this mall experience is a very good example, the line between where the physical world stops and the digital world starts is increasingly blurred, And in fact, I think that line, as you will see in the next 2 or 3 years, and I think we've seen some early presentation this morning showing that line is blurred, but I think it's going to go away. So better prototype, better enter that world now. And here it's the example of a connected glass. Okay, so throughout the mall, we have, with this customer, designed a connected glass. And this glass is in various parts. And you have an animation here. You can see it's a 3D animation, by the way. It's a real glass, which is interactive, but it has a sense of 3D dimensions because behind you can have a frame, and you can put some physical objects actually. So you see that here we're playing on a glass, which is driving a touchable, interactive experience, but at the same time you have objects in the background. So it's a pretty, it catches the eyes as you go through the mall, okay? And of course, if it's engaging on good ideas for the pre-Christmas seasons, for those people you care and love about who are so difficult to shop for, okay? So here, Ludovic from Valtech is showing you the experience. And it's quite amazing. They are about to, they've been testing this experience in Montreal, in the Montreal Mall, and in Vancouver, and they're about to deploy it nationally before the Christmas season. Last but not least, and this time the line between online and physical is definitely going away, a very interesting business issue, which is kitchen appliances. We've all bought kitchen appliances. Doesn't happen that often, in fact, selling, if you think about it, I don't know if there are some people who know about it here in this room, but selling kitchen appliances is a tough job. I mean, they're sitting at Dixon's here in the UK. They're sitting in the middle of the shop at Best Buy in the US. And really, they're also kind of dead products, okay? Because you're not going to come and start cooking in the middle of the store. Stores are not made to that. By the way, they should probably be made for that. But you just have no idea of how can you use it. You know, do I feel good with it? Are they adapted to the kind of cooking I'm doing? Of course, you may meet a salesperson, but it's still going to be a very transactional-oriented type of discussion, okay? Now, our Canadian team, again, here, has suggested to Thermador. So Thermador is a high-end kitchen appliance brand, and our Canadian team has started to build an experience and think about the right experience. And the right experience is actually, once you're in the store and you're sort of focusing on Thermador, which is a brand, by the way, which is a subsidiary of the Bosch corporation. But once you're in the store, you think, well, now that I've seen, I like the design of the appliance, what about using it? What benefits? How difficult is it? And our Canadian team at Valtech convinced the Thermador team in Canada to say, well, let's bring the full online, immersive 3D experience, virtual reality in the store. And basically, this is what you're seeing. With them, we went all the way about defining what is the Thermador style to actually shoot immersive 3D and make it available in a headset at the right moment when you're visiting the store. And of course, there's a lot of learnings, a lot of know-how, by the way. A 2D cameraman or art director who's used to film and shoot in 2 dimensions is probably has to go back to school to really understand what it means to shoot in 3D immersive dimensions. One small anecdote I like is that if you're the art director or the cameraman, you cannot be in the room, right? You have to be outside the room, otherwise you're inside the content. Okay, just to make you feel how a disruption this is in the content business. So very interesting case here, being right now taken as a roadshow from one store to the other, and more than 2,000 people have engaged on the store shop floor with the Thermador headset made by the Valtech and the Thermador teams. So let me try to conclude on this. What we're seeing in those experiences, by the way, is that product is not anymore enough, and I'm sure you guys have come to that conclusion. As a traditional retailer, our focus has been, let's find the exclusive products, okay? Because if we have the exclusive products, people will take our store as a destination, okay? Well, now, having product exclusivity is not enough, but it's also very tough, okay? There are so much products out there that really the difference is actually the experience. So the experience becomes the product. And as we enter that world, you need to find your style. You need to apply your DNA, and you need to feed your DNA, your brand DNA, and your retail DNA into that experience. The critical thing here is to avoid commoditization. What we've discovered is that there are different styles. There are different ways to engage with the user or the visitor, and you must start prototyping this today. The other thing which I think was obvious, and I want to make that point again, is that the line between online and physical is blurring to the point it's going away. We really need to have that in mind, because as customers, this is becoming obvious, okay? So our final advice to you is empower your organization with innovation, really. Be bold, because as we know, safe is definitely risky, okay? And a lot of companies have learned that. You speak to the Best Buy teams, you speak to the Walmart teams. Empower innovation in your organization means really having a very strong permanent feedback loop from the customers. Make sure that your cycle of innovation are not in sync with your budget cycles. Otherwise, just there, you're going to be too slow, okay? And the other thing, but I think it's going to be very clear during this day with the Wire team, is partner, engage, and very modestly track startups. Look at what they're doing. Look how well they're doing it, okay? And look how embedded they are with the customer in building their experiences. And we've seen some of that already this morning, okay? So the final goal may be the journey, and not what you think is the next milestone. It's actually the ability to move the organization, move the teams, and take that journey, and really accepting the idea that it is now a permanent state of innovation. And I want to say at Valtech, we're pretty excited about that. And you can see what we're doing, including those 3 experiences in the network room that David referred to, network room which is in this building next door. Thank you.